That rounds us into the movies section. For those of you waiting for the Avengers, you're probably going to be waiting a little bit longer. We'll talk about that. Speaking of things getting adapted to the big screen, because, you know, that is what that is. Speaking of adaptations, we have some trailers for some adaptations we've kind of been anticipating for a while. We've been talking about them since they were announced. Now they're finally releasing the trailers, so we're going to talk about those ever so briefly. And we have a very interesting shakeup with the Caped Crusader and one of his movies from yesteryear. Interesting things have happened very, very quickly. It all happened over the course of the last 7 days. It was roughly, honestly, it all happened within the span of about 3 days. But that's since we last spoke. So we're getting into those details. We've got quite a bit of a movie section this week, so let's dive into that. Welcome, nerds, to the Clips channel. You are about to watch the movie news for the week, at least since the last time you were here, probably. So, movie news, this is a smaller portion of a larger video. If you want to get all of the nerdy news, all of the pop culture stuff that's going on, go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy. The name of the show you're looking for is called The Week in Nerddom, and that's where you can get everything. Or you can just stay here and specifically watch movie news. We're going to talk about upcoming movies. We're going to talk about things that are happening in the box office right now, see how they're doing, that kind of stuff, and yeah, the kind of everything pertaining to movies. So let's jump into that.
Subscribe. That is all.
Okay, so follow-ups and corrections in the movie section. We have a couple. We have, honestly, most of the movie section is going to be some sort of follow-up or correction. First up, Avengers. Doomsday and Secret Wars have both been pushed back. We now officially have word from May 1st to December 18th of next year, so 2026, is the move for Avengers Doomsday. And then for Avengers Secret Wars, we have May 7th is the original release date, and it is now being pushed back to December 17th. I think I called this one. I can't remember exactly if we talked about it on the show or not, but I'm pretty sure I said that we should expect some sort of move, because Avengers and Disney and just generally giant movies like this tend to do better when it is just the one movie. I know summer is for blockbusters, but also Christmas time is for blockbusters as well. So it makes sense that that's where they would push it. Also, if we've been paying attention to the things that we do know are actually happening, we should have seen this coming anyway from the last couple of months worth of events. That's what we got there. Let's talk about Elden Ring. We now know who is going to be directing Elden Ring. Alex Garland is going to be writing and directing the Elden Ring movie, as confirmed by A24 themselves. They are the publishing house that is going to be putting up the money for this to happen. Garland is also responsible for the Civil War movies, Civil War and Warfare movies. Also, he was a writer on the upcoming 28 Years Later. So he's got the nerd cred in order to pull this off. I feel like there is a scope issue with Garland, though, because his previous outings have not been quite the same size in scope as Elden Ring is going to demand. So I do have a little bit of trepidation there, but I think he'll be able to pull it off. We shall see, especially once 28 Years Later comes out, because we're definitely going to be talking about that on the channel. All right, nerds, so let's take a break real quick. New season, new sponsor. Well, not exactly new sponsor. This is technically an old sponsor. Me, I'm sponsoring myself. This season, we're going to be doing a big merch push. Don't forget the Dubby. Dubby's always great, but we have merch. We're going to be doing active merch things, sales and special items and all this stuff. Right now, there are no special items up just yet over at the Spring store. We do have random stuff on the Redbubble store, both of which are linked down below. But if you go check out the Spring store, that's where the Basic Nerd merch line is. So any of your Basic Nerd stuff that you want, basically it's all of the sections that we do the Week in Nerddom in. So there's a gaming nerd, there's a comic book nerd, there's a music nerd, there's a TV nerd, all of the different sections, and then the split sections even. We have a gaming nerd, we have a tech nerd, we have comic book nerd, and a book nerd. All of these are up in the Basic Nerd line. And then, probably roughly once a month throughout the course of this season, we're going to be doing a special shirt in each of those, the section shirts, or however we're gonna sell it. I haven't worked out all of the details just yet, but we're getting there, all right? So go check out the Basic Nerd stuff. I super dig it. I think it's just the most simple way to proclaim to the world that you are nerdy in this area, or just generally nerdy, because it says generally nerdy at the back of all of these shirts, except for the zip-up hoodies say it on the chest. So yeah, go check it out. That is, I'm going to have a special, I will have things to show off soon. I need to order the individuals, the samples, and this shirt that I'm wearing right now is not currently up on the store. This is going to come back. It needs to be a little bit reworked because it still has the old logo on it. But yeah, we will be bringing back the "Do You Even Pop Culture, Bro" shirts as a specialty item sometime throughout this season. So stay tuned for that. Go check out the merch, and let's get back to the video. Next up, let's talk, oh boy, this one kind of happened and then died all at the same time. We have Batman Forever. The Schumacher Cut actually does exist. We speculated on the fact that it may or may not in previous episodes. About a year ago when this was initially a thing, but now someone got their hands on the Schumacher Cut and they were going to be showing it in front of an audience. A very small audience, a very exclusive audience. It was a club, effectively. But the theater that was doing it was in Santa Monica. But Warner Brothers got wind of it and filed an official cease and desist letter with the theater company that was going to be showing the Schumacher Cut. So now it's not happening. How ridiculous is this? Like, this is something that they are not making money on anymore in any meaningful way, but still they cannot let this alternate version of the movie see even kind of the light of day. That is just insane to me. From there, we have an update on the Hunger Games. I feel like we haven't really been keeping tabs on this, but this new casting announcement is reason enough to at least do some sort of update. So the next movie is going to be Sunrise on the Reaping. It is going to be another prequel to the original Hunger Games series. The casting announcement is Kieran Culkin has been cast as the host of the games, Caesar Flickerman. Culkin joins previously announced cast members of Joseph Zada as Hamish Abernathy, Whitney Peake as Lenore Dove Baird, McKenna Grace as, oh, I didn't see McKenna Grace's name in this before. Oh, that's awesome. I like McKenna Grace. She's great. McKenna Grace as Maisley Donner, Jesse Plemons as Pulark Heavensby, Maya Hawke as Wiress, and Kelvin Harrison Jr. as Beatty. Oh, there's more. Lily Taylor as Mags, Ben Wang as Wyatt, Elle Fanning as Effie Trinket, and Ralph Fiennes as President Snow. Molly McCann will also appear as Luella, while Iona Bell will portray her Capitol-assigned lookalike Lulu. I still have not read these books, so I don't know what any of that stuff means. I just know that Kieran Culkin is always a win, and honestly, his involvement in this might be enough of a motivation to see this movie for me, because always a win is always a win. Dude is amazing. Anyway, that's what we have for Hunger Games. That's what we have for follow-ups. So let's get into trailers. We have some trailers from the Horrorverse, the messing up your childhood of Horrorverse, whatever the hell they're calling it. I can't remember. We have a trailer for Piglet. I kind of forgot this one was happening, but yeah, this is the same Piglet from the Winnie the Pooh, the first Winnie the Pooh movie, not the second one. So I don't know if it's going to be related to the Horrorverse at large, but it's happening. So there you go. And then Bambi: The Reckoning. This one is going to be part of the Horrorverse, and holy cow, just the lols that you're going to get from these movies. And then, oh, those are the two. And then we have a new Stephen King movie Stephen King has 2 movies coming into theaters in the next year. 2. Not only does the man write an insane amount of books, but he also is part of an insane amount of adaptations of his books in theaters. This one, though, is called The Long Walk. Looks much more horror-esque than the other movie. I can't remember the name of the other movie right now because shiny things. But that's what we got for trailers. Let's talk about regular ass news. This one is almost follow-up from a piece that we talked about last week, but technically not a follow-up, just related. So the piece we talked about last week was the Kung Fury 2 movie that isn't locked up in all kinds of legal issues right now, trying to get released in the States, but there's Chinese involvement and it's insane. We may or may not ever see that actual movie in full, but the creator of the two Kung Fury movies, David Sanberg, is working on another movie because the Kung Fury 2 movie is done, edited, and in the can at this point, as they say. So he doesn't have to work on it outside of, trying to get through all of the legal hurdles it's going to take to release it in the States. But he now has a new movie called Dragonlord. Dragonlord he sounds like it's going to be equally as crazy as the Kung Fury movie. He's describing it as fantasy punk, and then he also goes on to describe it as a mashup between Star Wars, Mad Max, Lord of the Rings, and He-Man. Yeah, that sounds pretty nuts. So far, it sounds like he's still in the scripting phase. Once he gets through that, he is again he's the writer, director, star. So casting is going to be happening in the not so distant future because he's the guy that's in charge of everything up to that point. I am intrigued beyond all get out. I'm very curious as to what he's bringing to the table with this one. But that's all we have for regular ass news. Let's talk about your suggestion this week. This one is still in theaters. Not something we do very regularly, but it is a cultural moment for the movie-going types. I would say cinemaphiles, but this isn't exactly expanding the language of cinema by any means. It is a new Tom Cruise movie. It's called Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I'm sorry, Final Reckoning. I was almost going to call it by its old name. Final Reckoning. Dead Reckoning was great. I had a blast in that movie. So we're going to see this one while it's still in theaters. Final Reckoning is going to be a movie that you should be watching because, again, this is a cultural moment for moviegoers. This is like peak popcorn entertainment. Again, nothing deep here, just an incredibly fun time at the theater. That is why it's your suggestion for the week. Go see Final Reckoning, the final Mission Impossible movie starring Tom Cruise. Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of the sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.